Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates. I am Adanna Combie, and of course, we are going into conversations with Assemblyman Joel Sampson, famously known as Nutsi, and he's the area representative for Canaan Bon Accord and Crown Point. They recently concluded a town hall meeting where discussions were had, and so we're going to have some talks about what came out of that meeting. Good morning, Mr. Sampson, and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning?
I am well, thanks, and yourself?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Right. So we want to talk a little bit about the recently concluded town hall meeting that was held, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, in your area, and some of the discussions that came out of it. I mean, we heard your constituents, or rather the population in your area, really lauding praises on you for the work that you have been doing in the area. And we've seen a lot of things happening there, but also coming out of the town hall meeting with things that were still left undone, things still to be done, and some ideas for improvement in the area in general and Tobago on the wider spectrum. So tell us a little bit about your feelings coming out of that meeting, and what are your recommendations and the way forward as we progress together.
All right. So good morning again. My feelings coming out of the meeting, my spirits are very high at the moment. We had a lot of discourse, meaningful discourse at this meeting. We know there are always infrastructural challenges, but we have been getting them done bit by bit. We have been working together along with the residents, and they have come out and they have given ideas. And most of these ideas we have intended to implement. But the happy thing about it is that persons are recommending and giving up their service, willing to give up their service free to assist in whatever way we can to mitigate some of the flooding issues we have in the area. Persons are willing to give up their service to assist in the agriculture sector, in the tourism sector. So this is a good thing because most times at these town hall meetings, persons may come and complain about early morning jobs, about opportunities. But it was good to see that persons came out and had ideas that we can implement in moving forward and in assisting the community and making it a better place and more comfortable place to live.
Yes, and one thing I know about people from Canaan Bon Accord, because I had a little stint there, is that the togetherness, right? That they really do hold one head, right? As you mentioned, the infrastructural issues, the flooding in particular, especially on that stretch there, right in front of the Milford Court area, stretch from about just after the pan tent going down there. There could be rainfall for like 30 seconds, and there's a big flood there, and it's almost impassable. So that is something that needs immediate attention, and I don't know what the plans are to get that up and running so that we could alleviate that water. We saw Miss Wills sharing a video of some flooding in her area. So these are things that really need immediate attention, and this is for the improved standard of living for people in that area and people who access services that are on that part of the island, right? So these are the things we really want to pay attention to. What I want to talk to as well is the displacement of persons with the land issue, because for the construction of the airport, which of course is definitely needed and required at this time as we expand our services here in Tobago. A lot of them were talking about, I know in the meeting they mentioned that the parcels are now $15 per square foot, and we're talking about persons who paid more prior to this arrangement, and what now is the arrangement for those persons and the ones who are still to pay. I know that was a major concern.
Yeah, well, as the chief secretary have indicated about the $15 a square foot for the persons that would have been displaced last, that we would have come in and met in a situation, and the persons who would have gone before, unfortunately, some of them who have paid, is a situation that we can't really see how we will treat it at the moment. It's something we'll have to bring before the exec council. But in the interim, there are some persons who would have received peppercorn rate before that can't afford to build back a home. You would have heard the chief mention about how we would do some lease to own houses, so it will make it comfortable and make the movement a bit more seamless, which is something that should have been done prior to all of this. So we continue to work with the residents, we continue to meet with them and continue to get ideas from them as how we can go forward in making the last transition a bit seamless. in some cases we have even assisted with rent for some of these persons, because as all of Trinidad and Tobago know, the worldwide knows, that the money these persons received was not sufficient. So to pay a rent and to buy land and to rebuild, it's very difficult. So this THA administration, which is very caring, we are working alongside with the residents to ensure that they move seamlessly to these new areas. We will try to ensure that all the infrastructural challenges that we face will be sorted out in the shortest period possible, hoping in the first quarter of the new period, so that these persons will have some place to rest their heads comfortably at night.
Additionally, as you're speaking about that, I know the chief secretary spoke about the budget that is to be read in the next week, rather, and he mentioned that he has some insight that the budgetary allocation for Tobago might be less than last year. And with all these support that we want to give, how does that affect the distribution of funds to facilitate this type of support?
Well, as you will have mentioned also, in terms of the least ones whom we are intending on doing, these will be done as design, finance, and bill. So the contractor will get the work done, and then he will be paid incremental for a period, not as trade, or we don't have to facilitate a large amount out of that budget to pay for such. On the other hand, would pay back for these homes. They would pay at a rate that is comfortable and over a tenure of time. So there wouldn't be much of a strain on the budget where this is concerned.
Right, so there's cooperation between the THA, the contractors, and of course, the residents who are displaced, which will help them to come back to a proper standard of living, some sort of comfort, so that they can resume their normal lives. Another area I want to talk about that we always talk about in Tobago, we know that Tobago is a beautiful place. We boast about tourism, but one of our challenges has always been our customer service. And during the town hall meeting, I know the chief secretary, again, he spoke at length about our customer service. He spoke about the same type of, he made reference to hosting harvest in your home, to carrying that same kind of spirit to your shop, to your parlor, to whatever service or good that you offer. And we've been hearing this time and time again, year in, year out. But I'm wondering, is there anything that is put in place or that is going to be implemented to bring the certain standard of customer service? Is there going to be a standardized customer service that should be rolled out in Tobago so that all providers, they treat guests with that same level, whether it's goods or services? Because at the end of the day, your product could be the best on the planet, but if your service is poor, then you stand a risk of losing your customer or your client. So is there anything in consideration rather for training or enhancing our customer service rollout?
Well, the conversation of customer service programs, we have had that conversation. There are certain things we have to put in place so we can implement it and get the business owners, the MPs, to attend these training sessions. We're hoping that these will be rolled out pretty soon, because as the study says, when you come in via the airplane, it's the first place that's the settings, how you deal with persons, how you treat with them upon arrival, will leave an impression on them. So if it's an impression they get, their stay will be good. If it's a bad impression, that's what they will think of the place. So it's something that we have to look into seriously, especially in the Crown Point area, because as you know, we are like the tourism hub here. We are booming with businesses and all sorts of activities. So once that customer service improves, I think the tourism on the island would improve on our own.
Yes, and I totally agree. And I will not isolate it just to Crown Point only. I mean, that's where it starts when the tourists come in. But also for our domestic customer service as well is something we need to look into for island-wide. Is there anything you want to say as we wrap this interview this morning on the outcome of the town hall meeting? Any recommendations you want to make? Any commendations you want to make in relation to how the meeting went and your feelings and the way forward?
So I just want to say, firstly, thankful for the Almighty God for the opportunity to represent persons in my area and persons in Tobago on a whole. I'm appreciative of the persons that came out to the town hall meeting and shared their ideas, and I'm thankful for the persons that want to come on board and assist. because going forward, for us to make this the greatest little island on the planet, it has to be a holistic effort. It cannot just be the THA, but the whole of Tobago on board and for us to work together. So I do look forward to working continually with these people in my district and on the whole of Tobago as we go forward. I just want to say thanks to the team that I am a part of for their support, their continued support. It gives me that strength from day to day. And I just say thankful to the people of the electoral district of Bon Accord, Crown Point again, for installing that confidence in me as we go forward and work to make this place the greatest little island on the planet.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sampson. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Assemblyman Joel Sampson, area representative for Canaan Bon Accord, Crown Point, on the recently concluded town hall meeting. No man is an island, so he had to give thanks to his team who supports him and help him to carry the vision through. We are going to go to a break, and when we return, we'll be speaking with Dr. Akila Smith. But in the meantime, we invite you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be back.